Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the wild, the weird, and the wonderful. Today, we're talking about wolves. Specifically, a breed of wolves so legendary, so ferocious, that they've inspired stories, myths, and even a blockbuster TV show. I'm talking about the dire wolf. But here's the kicker. These creatures went extinct 12,000 years ago. Or did they? Buckle up, because science just pulled a Jurassic Park move, and we're about to unpack it all. Let's start at the beginning. For centuries, wolves ruled the wild. Apex predators, they hunted in packs, filling their bellies with whatever they could take down. But as humans rose to dominance, something incredible happened. Some wolves, smaller, friendlier ones, started hanging around our settlements. Why? Easy food and warmth. This process, called domestication, gave us dogs. Yep, those loyal pups we call man's best friend, they're descended from wolves. As the poet Faiz Ahmed Faiz once wrote, these were the stray, useless dogs of the streets. Meanwhile, the wolves who stayed in the wild, they remained wolves, fierce, untamed, and the stuff of legends like the boy who cried wolf. But there was another kind of wolf, bigger, stronger, more terrifying. These giants thrived in icy landscapes, ruling the frozen tundra. They were called dire wolves, and 12,000 years ago, they vanished from the earth. Or so we thought. Fast forward to today. For centuries, all we had of dire wolves were fossils. Bones dug up from places like Canada, the US, Mexico, and even Venezuela. These remains told us they were massive, with powerful jaws and thick white fur suited for the cold. But in 2025, something straight out of science fiction happened. A group of scientists, a high-tech lab, and years of hard work brought the dire wolf back to life. Not one, not two, but 3 dire wolf pups were born in a lab. Their names? Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. Yeah, you heard that right. Khaleesi, like from Game of Thrones. This breakthrough instantly reminded people of Steven Spielberg's 1993 classic, Jurassic Park, where scientists revived extinct dinosaurs from ancient DNA. But this isn't Hollywood. This is real. And it's raising some big questions. Are we tampering with nature? Why bring back creatures that evolution left behind? And where does this science stop? To understand how we got here, let's rewind to 1996. That year, scientists at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland made history by cloning a sheep named Dolly. Dolly wasn't just any sheep. She was created from the cells of an adult sheep, a process called cloning. This was huge because it was the first time a mammal, a creature with complex biology like us, was cloned from an adult cell. Mammals, by the way, are animals with breasts and 2 pairs of limbs, like humans, dogs, and yes, wolves. Dolly proved that labs could create life from scratch. Cloning wasn't new. Scientists had cloned simpler animals before. But mammals? That was a game changer. It showed us that with the right tools, we could rewrite the rules of biology. Now, 1996 wasn't just about Dolly. That same year, across the Atlantic in New Jersey, a writer named George R.R. Martin was hammering away at his typewriter, finishing the first draft of a novel called A Song of Ice and Fire. Fast forward to 2011, and that book series became HBO's Game of Thrones, a show that took the world by storm. If you've seen it, you know the Stark family in the north had 6 massive, white-furred wolves. Those weren't just any wolves, they were dire wolves, a nod to the real extinct species that once roamed North America. In the show, each Stark sibling gets a dire wolf pup. 3 die, 3 survive, and they're a symbol of power and loyalty. But little did anyone know that a decade later, these fictional beasts would step out of the screen and into reality. On April 7th, 2025, Time magazine dropped a bombshell. Their latest cover featured a white dire wolf named Remus, with the headline, "The First Living Dire Wolf in 10,000 Years." How did this happen? Enter Colossal Biosciences, a biotech company based in Dallas, Texas. Founded in 2021 by billionaire Ben Lamb and geneticist George Church, Colossal's mission is bold: de-extinction. They want to bring back species that vanished long ago, like the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, and the dodo bird. But their secret project? The dire wolf. In March 2025, Colossal announced they'd done it. Using cutting-edge genetic tech, they created 3 dire wolf pups. Time magazine reporters got exclusive access to a secret U.S. Forest Service facility where they met the pups, Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. These wolves weren't just lab experiments. They were living, breathing echoes of a lost world. So, how do you bring back an extinct animal? It all comes down to genes. Genes are like the instruction manual for life, passed from parents to kids. They control everything: your height, your eye color, even your personality. Every living thing, from humans to wolves to trees, has genes stored in their DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid, if you want to get fancy. DNA is found in every cell, even in things like hair, teeth, or saliva. To revive the dire wolf, Colossal needed DNA. They got it from two fossils, a dire wolf skull found in Ohio and an ear bone from Idaho. They studied this DNA and compared it to the DNA of a living species, the common gray wolf. Here's where it gets wild. They found that by tweaking just 14 genes in the gray wolf's DNA, they could recreate the traits of a dire wolf: its size, white fur, massive head, powerful shoulders, and bone-crushing jaws. Using a tool called CRISPR, think of it as genetic scissors, they edited those 14 genes in a gray wolf's DNA. But editing genes isn't like cutting paper. It's delicate work done inside a cell's nucleus, and one mistake can ruin everything. After months of trial and error, they created 45 modified cell nuclei, each carrying the dire wolf's genetic blueprint. Next, they took those nuclei and placed them into empty cells, cells with their original nuclei removed. Over weeks, these cells divided, forming embryos, the earliest stage of life. But an embryo needs a mother to grow. For that, Colossal bred a special hybrid dog-wolf, large enough to carry a dire wolf pup. They transferred the embryos into this surrogate mother, monitored her closely, and on October 1st, 2020, history was made. A team of 4 doctors performed a C-section, pulling 2 healthy dire wolf pups from the surrogate's womb. They cleaned them, checked them, and named them Romulus and Remus. 3 months later, on January 30th, 2020, a third pup, Khaleesi, was born using the same process. After 12,000 years, the dire wolf was back. But these aren't your average wolves. Reports say the pups are shy, avoiding humans whenever possible. Unlike dogs, or even modern wolves, they seem wary, almost like they know they don't belong in our world. And that's where the questions start. Reviving an extinct species isn't just about science, it's about ethics. We spoke to geneticists about the challenges. One expert told us, the more complex an organism, the harder it is to edit its genes. Humans, for example, are the most complex. If a single mutation causes a disease, you can't just snip it out. Genes interact like planets in a horoscope. One change affects everything else. Colossal isn't stopping at dire wolves. They've already created a mammoth mouse, a lab mouse with mammoth-like green fur and internal organs. Their next target, the woolly mammoth itself. But here's the big question. Should we be doing this? Charles Darwin's theory of natural selection says species evolve to fit their environment. Those that don't, like the dire wolf or the mammoth, die out. It's nature's way. By bringing these creatures back, are we challenging nature's rules? In 2020, the inventors of CRISPR won a Nobel Prize, sparking debates about gene editing. Some say it's unethical to play God. Others argue it's our duty to fix what we've broken, like restoring ecosystems damaged by humans.